Today you're going to learn how to solve proportions using two methods, cross product and the bat and ball method. After reviewing both methods, you'll be able to choose the strategy that you like the most. When you're solving proportions, first of all, you need to know what they are. A proportion is a statement that two fractions or ratios are equal. They're the same. You can set up ratios by setting up two rates, a ratio, which is just a fraction that's equal to each other. So over here you have a rate. You're comparing dollars to hours and dollars to hours. Notice that the numerators are the same units and the denominators are also the same units. Over here we're comparing two dogs. We're comparing the length of the dog from the ears to the nose and the length from the top of its neck down its back. And we're also doing the same thing to the brown dog. And notice that you can set up a proportion, 10 is to 20, as 15 is to 30. And then we have a proportion where now one of the variables is representing an unknown. So there are ways by which we can solve for that unknown. And today that is one of the concepts that you're going to learn. Now, the first method to solving a proportion is cross products. If two fractions form a proportion, then their cross products are the same or equal. So notice we have the two fractions 3/4 and 6/8 set equal to each other. And we want to figure out if they really are. So we do what is known as the cross product. So you multiply 3 times 8 and then 6 times 4. And if those two products are the same, then those two ratios or fractions form a proportion. 3 times 8 is 24, and 6 times 4 is 24. And since both products are the same, the two fractions form a proportion. Now, when you're dealing with two fractions that form a proportion, then what must always be true is that their cross products are equivalent. Another word for equivalent is equal. They're the same. So we want to identify if each of the set of fractions in the 4 boxes form a proportion. So we want to check out their cross products. So we want to ask ourselves, is 3 times 3 the same as 1 times 9? Well, 3 times 3 is 9. 1 times 9 is also 9. And since both products are the same, then those two fractions form what is known as a proportion. We want to do the same thing for the next box on the right. We want to multiply 12 times 35, which is 420, and 24 times 15, which is 360. And since both of those products are different, they're not equal to each other, then this is not a proportion. The bottom left box, we want to do the same thing. Check out the cross products. Multiply 5 times 40, which is 200, and 10 times 20, which is also 200. And since the cross products are the same, then those two fractions or ratios forms what is known as a proportion. And then the last one, you still want to do the same thing. 1 times 12 is 12, and 3 times 6 is 18. And since those two products are different, they're not equal, then this is not forming a proportion. Now, when you are solving proportions, there are 4 things that you want to make sure you are taking note of. Number one, you can solve proportion using, here again, what is known as cross products. Number two, you want to write a proportion and use a variable to represent the unknown. It does not matter what that variable is as long as you're using a letter of the alphabet. Number three, once you've let your variable be your unknown, then you want to cross multiply. And number four, last, you want to solve for the variable. So let's take those 4 steps and do the 4 problems in the box. So in the first one, you want to multiply 2 times x, which is 2x, and set it equal to 1 times 18, which is 18. We want to undo multiplying by 2, which is to divide by 2 on both sides. So x is equal to 9. So you want to make sure you check it. Is 9 times 2 the same as 1 times 18? 9 times 2 is 18. 1 times 18 is 18. Therefore, x is equal to 9. In the second box on the right, you want to do the same thing. Use the cross product method. Multiply 32 times k, which is 32k, and set it equal to 64 times 12, which is 768. We'll undo multiplying by 32, so you're going to divide both sides by 32. And k is equal to 24. Make sure you go back and check it. Use cross products for the bottom left box. So you're going to multiply 5 times g, which is 5g, and set it equal to 3 times 15, which is 45. Divide both sides by 5. G is 9. And then the last one, it doesn't matter where the variable is, you're still using cross products. So you multiply 3 times f, which is 3f, and set it equal to 33 times 11, which is 363. You want to undo multiplying by 3, so you're going to divide both sides by 3. So f is equal to 121. So cross products, you just multiply across the equal signs diagonally, and then you divide. Now the last method is called the bat and the ball method. And in order to use this method, it's kind of the same as cross product, but you don't have to write down every step. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply the numbers diagonally across from each other, which is known as the bat. So I'm going to circle my bat. 9 times 10 is 90. And I'm going to circle the ball and divide by the ball. So my answer would end up to be 22.5. For example 2, same thing. Now the bat is in a different place. So you're going to multiply 3 times 14, circle the bat, divide by the ball. So 3 times 14 is 42. Divide by 7, we get 6. So y is equal to 6. Let's work. In example 3, the variable is now in the bottom left. So the bat changed. So find the 2 numbers that are diagonally across from each other, circle them, that's your bat, and circle the ball. So 2 times 33 is 66. Divide that by 11, you end up with 6. And the last example, circle the back. That's the two numbers that are diagonally across from each other, 5 and 12. That's 60. And divide by the ball, circle the ball. So we end up with M being 10. So try these 4 problems using the bat and the ball method. Remember, the bat is the part of the problem where the two numbers are diagonally across from each other. So you circle the bat, circle the ball, and divide. So in the first one, the bat is 5 and 54. So we'll circle the bat, divide by the ball. So you end up with G being equal to 9. We look at the next one, circle the bat, 2 times 16, that's 32. Divide by the ball, we end up with 1. So W is equal to 1. All right, in the third example, circle the bat, 5 and 36, multiply them together, you get 180. Circle the ball, divide by it. So you end up with T is equal to 3. And then the last one, circle the bat, that's the 48 and the 15. Multiply them, you get 720. Divide by the ball, which is 12. So we end up with 720 divided by 12 is 60. So I hope you've learned at least one of the methods to solve a proportion. You'll be using these methods in similar figures. Please make sure you go and complete assignment 2 using the method that you prefer. And please be sure to turn it in by Wednesday, April the 1st. Have a good day.